Good evening, and welcome to Cozy Sleep Time. Before we begin tonight's story, take a quiet moment to settle in and get comfortable. Find a position where your body can fully relax, whether you're lying in bed, resting on a couch, or simply unwinding after a long day. Allow your shoulders to soften. Let your breathing slow down just a little. There is nowhere else you need to be, and nothing else you need to do. Here, on Cozy Sleep Time, we explore calm and gentle topics. Stories designed to help the mind slow down and drift peacefully toward rest. Each story moves slowly, gently, allowing your thoughts to wander and your body to relax more and more. Our story tonight is about coral reefs at night. As the story unfolds, you can simply listen or you can allow your mind to drift. There is no need to stay focused. If your thoughts wander, that is perfectly natural. So take one more slow breath, get comfortable, and let the quiet story begin. As the sun sets over the ocean, the coral reef undergoes a transformation that is as dramatic as it is beautiful. The bright colors of the day fade into softer shades of blue and purple. The fish that were active during the day retreat to their hiding places, and a completely different community of creatures emerges to take their place. The reef after sunset is a world of subtle movement and hidden activity, a place where the darkness reveals as much as it conceals. The transition from day to night on the reef begins even before the sun has fully set. As the light levels drop, the daytime fish begin to seek shelter. Parrotfish find crevices in the coral where they can sleep, some of them secreting a mucus cocoon around themselves that masks their scent from predators. Damselfish retreat to the branching corals, and surgeonfish gather in groups near the reef structure. The activity of the reef gradually slows, and a different kind of energy begins to build. As darkness falls, the nocturnal creatures begin to emerge. The first sign of the nighttime reef is often the appearance of the predators, the moray eels that slip out of their crevices, the octopus that changes color and texture as it moves across the reef, the sharks that begin their patrol of the reef edges. These creatures have been waiting through the day for the cover of darkness, and they emerge with a purposefulness that is different from the more casual movements of the daytime fish. The coral polyps themselves begin to emerge at sunset. During the day, the polyps are retracted into their hard skeletons, protected from the sun and from predators. As the light fades, they extend their tentacles, creating a soft, fuzzy appearance on the surface of the coral. The reef that looked hard and rocky during the day becomes soft and alive at night, covered with countless tiny tentacles reaching into the water to capture passing food. The sounds of the reef change after dark. During the day, the reef is filled with the sounds of fish swimming and feeding, of shrimp clicking their claws, of the general activity of the reef community. At night, these sounds are replaced by different ones. The crackling sound of shrimp is still present, but it is joined by the scraping sounds of sea urchins feeding, the soft movements of octopus and other predators, and the occasional sound of a fish startled from its resting place. The smells of the reef also change after dark. The water takes on a different quality, carrying the sense of the nocturnal creatures that are now active. The smell of the reef at night is subtle but distinctive, a combination of salt water and the organic compounds released by the coral and the creatures that live among it. The night reef is a different sensory experience from the day reef, more subtle and mysterious, requiring a different kind of attention to appreciate. The reef after sunset is a reminder that the ocean is never still. Even when the surface is calm and the sun has set, the reef is alive with activity, a community of creatures that follows the rhythm of day and night. The transition from day to night on the reef is a daily drama that has been playing out for millions of years, a transformation that reveals the hidden life of the ocean and the endless cycle of activity that defines the natural world. When the sun goes down on the coral reef, a completely different set of animals emerges to take the place of the daytime creatures. The nocturnal animals of the reef have evolved remarkable adaptations for living in the dark, including enhanced senses, specialized hunting techniques, and behaviors that are rarely seen by human observers. The octopus is one of the most remarkable nocturnal hunters on the reef. During the day, octopuses hide in crevices and under rocks, their bodies compressed and camouflaged to blend in with their surroundings. At night, they emerge to hunt, moving across the reef with a grace that is almost hypnotic. The octopus can change its color and texture in an instant, matching the appearance of whatever surface it is moving across. Its 8 arms are covered with suckers that can taste and feel, and its intelligence is remarkable for an invertebrate. The moray eel is another common nocturnal predator on the reef. During the day, moray eels hide in crevices and holes in the reef structure, with only their heads visible. At night, they emerge to hunt, moving through the water with a sinuous motion that is both graceful and menacing. Moray eels have a second set of jaws in their throat that helps them to capture and swallow prey, and their sense of smell is highly developed. The reef lobster is a nocturnal scavenger that emerges from its hiding place after dark. These crustaceans move across the reef floor on their long legs, searching for food with their antennae. The reef lobster is a slow and deliberate mover, its hard exoskeleton providing protection from predators as it searches for dead or dying animals to eat. The cardinal fish are among the most common nocturnal fish on the reef. During the day, they hide in dark crevices and under overhangs, often in large groups. At night, they emerge to feed on zooplankton and small crustaceans. Cardinal fish have large eyes that are adapted for seeing in low light, and they are often the most abundant fish on the reef at night. The sea urchin is a nocturnal grazer that emerges after dark to feed on algae. During the day, sea urchins hide in crevices, their spines providing protection from predators. At night, they move out onto the open reef, their long spines waving as they slowly graze on the algae that grows on the coral. The movement of sea urchins across the reef at night is one of the subtle signs of life that characterize the nocturnal reef. The nocturnal animals of the coral reef are adapted to a world of darkness and subtle movement. Their senses are tuned to the cues that are available at night. The chemical signals in the water, the vibrations of movement, the slight changes in light levels. They have evolved to fill the ecological niches that are vacated by the daytime animals when the sun goes down, and they are as much a part of the reef community as the colorful fish and corals that are visible during the day. One of the most spectacular phenomena on the coral reef at night is bioluminescence, the production of light by living organisms. The ocean is filled with creatures that can produce their own light, and the coral reef at night is a stage for some of the most beautiful displays of bioluminescence in the natural world. Bioluminescence is produced by a chemical reaction within the bodies of certain organisms. A substance called luciferin reacts with oxygen in the presence of an enzyme called luciferase, producing light. This reaction is highly efficient, producing almost no heat, which is why bioluminescent light is often called cold light. The color of bioluminescence varies from species to species, but it is most commonly blue or green because these colors travel farthest through water. Dinoflagellates are among the most common bioluminescent organisms on the reef. These microscopic plankton produce flashes of light when they are disturbed, creating a sparkling effect in the water that is often visible as waves break on the shore or as a boat moves through the water. On a dark night, the movement of a hand through the water can create a trail of blue-green light, a magical display that never fails to inspire wonder. Certain species of jellyfish are also bioluminescent, producing pulses of light that travel through their translucent bodies. The moon jellyfish is one of the most common bioluminescent jellyfish, and its gentle pulsing light is a common sight on the reef at night. The light produced by jellyfish may serve to attract prey or to startle predators, though the exact function is not fully understood for all species. Firefly squid are one of the most beautiful examples of bioluminescence in the ocean. These small squid are covered with photophores, organs that produce light, and they can create complex patterns of light across their bodies. The firefly squid live in the deep ocean during the day and migrate to the surface at night, creating spectacular displays of bioluminescence that can be seen from the surface. Some species of coral are also bioluminescent, producing pulses of light that travel across the surface of the colony. The function of bioluminescence in coral is not well understood, but it may serve to attract prey or to communicate with other members of the colony. The sight of a coral colony glowing in the darkness is one of the most beautiful and mysterious sights that the reef has to offer. Bioluminescence is one of the most beautiful phenomena in the natural world, and it is most visible on the reef at night. The flashes of light in the darkness, the trails of glowing water, the pulsing lights of jellyfish and squid, all of these create a display that is both magical and scientifically fascinating. The ability of living organisms to produce light is a testament to the creativity of evolution, and the bioluminescent displays of the reef at night are a reminder that the ocean is filled with wonders that we are only beginning to understand. Coral polyps are the tiny animals that build the coral reef, and their activity at night is one of the most important processes in the reef ecosystem. During the day, the polyps are retracted into their hard skeletons, protected from the sun and from predators. At night, they emerge to feed, extending their tentacles into the water to capture the tiny organisms that drift past. The coral polyp is a simple animal related to jellyfish and anemones. It has a mouth surrounded by a ring of tentacles, and its body is enclosed in a hard cup of calcium carbonate that it secretes. The polyp extends its tentacles at night, and the tentacles are covered with stinging cells called nematocysts that can capture passing plankton and other small organisms. The tentacles then bring the captured food to the mouth, where it is digested. The timing of feeding is critical for coral polyps. They must wait until the cover of darkness to extend their tentacles because their tentacles are vulnerable to predation during the day. The polyps also need the cover of darkness to protect their symbiotic algae called zooxanthellae, which live inside their tissues. These algae photosynthesize during the day, producing food for the coral, and they are sensitive to bright light. The feeding activity of coral polyps is synchronized with the daily cycle of the reef. As the sun sets, the polyps begin to emerge, and their tentacles are fully extended within an hour or two of darkness. They remain extended throughout the night, feeding on the zooplankton that rises from the depths after dark. Just before dawn, the polyps begin to retract, and by the time the sun rises, they are safely tucked away in their skeletons. The extension of coral polyps at night changes the appearance of the reef dramatically. The hard, rocky surface of the coral during the day becomes soft and fuzzy at night, covered with the extended tentacles of countless polyps. The reef that seems so solid and static during the day becomes a living, moving entity at night, with every surface covered with the gentle waving of tentacles. The feeding of coral polyps is essential for the growth of the reef. The calcium carbonate that the polyps secrete builds up over time, creating the structure of the reef. The energy for this secretion comes from the food that the polyps capture at night and from the sugars produced by their symbiotic algae during the day. The nightly feeding of the polyps is the foundation of the reef's growth, the process that has built the largest living structures on Earth. Watching coral polyps feed at night is a mesmerizing experience. With a flashlight covered with red film to avoid disturbing them, you can see the tiny tentacles waving in the water, the stinging cells capturing passing prey, the slow movement of food toward the mouth. The feeding of coral polyps is a gentle and peaceful process, a nightly ritual that has been repeated for millions of years and that continues to build the most diverse ecosystems in the ocean. The ecosystem of the coral reef at night is a complex web of interactions that is different from the daytime ecosystem in almost every way. The creatures that are active at night fill different ecological roles and use different strategies for finding food, avoiding predators, and reproducing. The nighttime reef ecosystem is a parallel world that exists alongside the daytime reef, a world that is only visible to those who take the time to look. The base of the nighttime reef food web is the zooplankton that rises from deeper water after dark. These tiny animals, including copepods, krill, and the larvae of many marine creatures, migrate upward from the depths at night to feed on the phytoplankton that grows near the surface. This daily migration, called the diel vertical migration, is the largest movement of animal life on Earth, and it brings a wealth of food to the reef at night. The coral polyps are among the primary consumers of this zooplankton, extending their tentacles to capture the tiny animals that drift past. The polyps are joined by other filter feeders, including feather duster worms, barnacles, and tunicates, all of which extend their feeding structures into the water at night to capture the passing plankton. The nighttime reef is a scene of active feeding, with countless creatures extending their filtering apparatus into the water. The predators of the nighttime reef are adapted to hunting in the dark. Moray eels use their keen sense of smell to locate prey hidden in the crevices of the reef. Octopuses use their intelligence and their ability to change color and texture to approach their prey undetected. Crabs and lobsters use their antennae to feel their way across the reef, searching for dead or dying animals to scavenge. Each predator has its own strategy for finding food in the darkness. The herbivores of the nighttime reef are less common than the herbivores of the daytime reef, but they are still an important part of the ecosystem. Sea urchins graze on algae at night, their spines providing protection from predators as they move across the open reef. Some species of fish also feed on algae at night, using their sensitive lips to scrape algae from the coral without damaging the polyps. The scavengers of the nighttime reef play an essential role in keeping the reef clean. Crabs, shrimp, and some species of fish feed on dead and dying animals, removing organic matter that would otherwise decay and pollute the reef. The scavengers are the cleanup crew of the reef, and their activity at night ensures that the reef remains healthy and balanced. The nighttime reef ecosystem is a dynamic and complex web of life that operates largely unseen by human observers. The interactions between predators and prey, between filter feeders and their food, between scavengers and the dead, all of these create a living system that is as rich and complex as the daytime reef. The nighttime reef is a reminder that the ocean is never at rest. that life continues around the clock in ways that we are only beginning to understand. Moonlight on the coral reef creates one of the most beautiful and atmospheric scenes in the natural world. The light of the moon filters through the water, casting a silver glow on the coral and creating patterns of light and shadow that shift with the movement of the water. The reef under a full moon is a place of ethereal beauty, a landscape that seems to belong to another world. The effect of moonlight on the reef depends on the phase of the moon and the clarity of the water. On a night with a full moon and clear water, the moonlight can penetrate to depths of 30 feet or more, illuminating the reef in a way that is similar to twilight. The colors of the reef are muted under moonlight, the bright reds and oranges of the day becoming softer shades of gray and blue. The reef under moonlight is a more subtle and atmospheric version of its daytime self. The behavior of reef animals is influenced by the moon. Many species of coral spawn in synchrony with the lunar cycle, releasing their eggs and sperm into the water on specific nights after the full moon. The timing of this mass spawning event is one of the most remarkable phenomena in the natural world, and it is synchronized across entire reef systems by the light of the moon. The moon is the conductor of the reef's reproductive symphony. Some species of fish are more active on moonlit nights, using the extra light to hunt or to feed. Other species are less active, hiding from predators that can see better in the moonlight. The behavior of each species is shaped by the balance between the advantages and disadvantages of being active under the moon, and the reef under moonlight is a place where different strategies play out in the silver light. The moonlight also affects the vertical migration of plankton. On moonlit nights, the zooplankton that normally rise to the surface after dark may stay deeper in the water, avoiding the brighter surface waters where they would be more visible to predators. This changes the availability of food for the filter feeders on the reef, and it can have cascading effects through the entire nighttime reef ecosystem. The experience of being on the reef under moonlight is one of the most peaceful and beautiful experiences that the ocean has to offer. The gentle movement of the water, the silver light filtering down from above, the subtle sounds of the reef at night, all of these combine to create a sense of calm that is difficult to find in any other environment. Floating above the reef on a moonlit night, watching the coral and the fish in the silver light is an experience that stays with you long after you have returned to the surface. The moon and the reef are connected in ways that are both obvious and subtle. The moon creates the tides that bring nutrients to the reef. The moon triggers the spawning events that ensure the survival of the coral, and the moon provides the light that illuminates the reef at night. The relationship between the moon and the reef is a relationship of light and water, of gravity and life, a connection that has been shaping the reef for millions of years. The colors of the coral reef are among the most brilliant and varied in the natural world, and they serve a variety of important functions for the creatures that display them. While many of these colors are most visible during the day, they are created by processes that continue through the night, and the colors of the reef have a significance that goes beyond simple beauty. The colors of coral are created primarily by the symbiotic algae called zooxanthellae that live within the coral's tissues. These algae contain pigments that absorb sunlight for photosynthesis, and they are responsible for the brown and green colors that are common in many coral species. The more vivid colors, such as the blues, purples, and pinks that some corals display, are produced by fluorescent proteins that the coral itself creates. Fluorescent proteins in coral absorb light at one wavelength and emit it at another, creating the glowing effect that is visible under ultraviolet light. The function of these fluorescent proteins is not fully understood, but they may serve to protect the coral's symbiotic algae from damage by excess sunlight, or they may attract the symbiotic algae to settle on the coral. Whatever their function, they create some of the most beautiful colors in the natural world. The colors of reef fish serve a variety of functions. Bright colors can be used to attract mates, to warn predators of toxicity, to establish territory, or to communicate with other members of the same species. The bright colors of the reef fish are one of the first things that visitors to the reef notice, and they create a visual spectacle that is unmatched in any other ecosystem. The colors of the reef change at night in subtle ways. In the low light of the moon and stars, the bright colors of the day become muted, and the reef takes on a more monochromatic appearance. However, some colors become more visible at night. The fluorescent proteins in some corals and other organisms can be activated by the blue light that penetrates deepest into the water, creating subtle glows that are visible in the darkness. Bioluminescence adds another dimension to the color of the reef at night. The blue-green light produced by bioluminescent organisms is the most common color in the nighttime reef, and it creates a display that is completely different from the colors of the day. The bioluminescent displays of the reef at night are a reminder that color in nature is not just about what we can see during the day, but about the full range of light that living organisms can produce and perceive. The colors of the coral reef are a source of wonder and inspiration for everyone who visits them. The brilliant blues and greens, the deep purples and pinks, the flashes of bioluminescent light in the darkness, all of these create a visual experience that is both beautiful and meaningful. The colors of the reef are a reminder that the natural world is filled with beauty that serves purposes beyond our understanding, and that the ocean holds colors and patterns that we are only beginning to appreciate. The fish of the coral reef have a wide variety of nighttime habits that are different from their daytime behaviors. While many reef fish are active during the day and sleep at night, others are active at night and sleep during the day. The nighttime habits of reef fish are an important part of the reef ecosystem, and they reveal a different side of the reef community. Parrotfish have one of the most unusual nighttime habits of any reef fish. At night, some species of parrotfish secrete a mucus cocoon that envelops their body, creating a protective bubble that masks their scent from predators. The parrotfish spends the night inside this cocoon, emerging in the morning to begin its daily activities. The mucus cocoon is secreted from glands in the parrotfish's mouth, and it takes about an hour to complete. Damselfish are among the most common fish on the reef, and they have a well-defined nighttime routine. As the sun begins to set, damselfish retreat to the crevices and holes in the coral where they will spend the night. They become less active as the light fades, and by full darkness, they are resting in their shelters. Damselfish are vigilant even when resting, and they will quickly emerge from their shelters if disturbed. Cardinalfish are one of the most common nocturnal fish on the reef. During the day, they hide in dark crevices and under ledges, often in large groups. As the sun sets, they emerge to feed on zooplankton, using their large eyes to see in the low light. Cardinalfish are mouth brooders, meaning that the male carries the eggs in his mouth until they hatch, and this behavior continues through the night. Squirrelfish are another common nocturnal fish on the reef. Named for their large eyes, which resemble those of a squirrel, these fish are active at night and hide during the day. Squirrelfish have excellent night vision, and they feed on small crustaceans and other invertebrates that are active after dark. Their large eyes are adapted to gathering as much light as possible in the dim conditions of the nighttime reef. Some species of fish change color at night. This phenomenon, called nocturnal color change, involves the fish becoming darker or lighter to match the lower light levels of the night. The color change is controlled by hormones and by the nervous system, and it helps the fish to avoid predators and to blend in with their surroundings during the night. The nighttime habits of reef fish are a reminder that the reef is active around the clock. The fish that are visible during the day are replaced by different species at night, and the reef community undergoes a daily transformation that is both predictable and fascinating. The fish of the reef have adapted to the cycle of day and night in ways that are specific to their species and their ecological niche, and their nighttime habits are an essential part of the reef ecosystem. The predators of the night reef are some of the most fascinating and efficient hunters in the ocean. Adapted to hunting in darkness, they use a variety of senses and strategies to locate and capture their prey. The night reef is a place of silent hunting and sudden movement, where the predators and prey play out the eternal drama of survival in the darkness. The octopus is one of the most remarkable predators of the night reef. With its soft body and remarkable intelligence, the octopus is able to hunt in ways that other predators cannot. It uses its 8 arms to explore crevices and holes in the reef, its suckers providing both grip and sensory information. The octopus can change its color and texture to match its surroundings, approaching its prey without being detected. Its beak is powerful enough to crush the shells of crabs and mollusks. The moray eel is a formidable predator of the night reef. During the day, moray eels hide in crevices, waiting for prey to pass by. At night, they emerge to hunt actively, moving through the water with a sinuous motion. Moray eels have a second set of jaws, called pharyngeal jaws, in their throat that can shoot forward to grasp prey and pull it back into the eel's mouth. Their sense of smell is highly developed, allowing them to detect prey from a considerable distance. The reef shark is one of the top predators of the night reef. Species such as the white-tip reef shark and the black-tip reef shark are active at night, patrolling the edges of the reef in search of prey. These sharks use their electroreceptors to detect the electrical fields produced by other animals, allowing them to find prey hidden in the reef structure. The presence of reef sharks at night is a sign of a healthy reef ecosystem. The lionfish is a nocturnal predator that has become a problem in some parts of the world where it is not native. With its long, venomous spines and its beautiful striped pattern, the lionfish is a skilled hunter that feeds on small fish and crustaceans. Lionfish are active at night, using their large pectoral fins to herd prey into a corner before striking. Their venomous spines provide protection from predators, and they have few natural enemies outside their native range. The crab is a common nocturnal predator and scavenger on the reef. Crabs use their claws to capture and crush prey, and their antennae to sense their surroundings in the dark. Some crabs are active hunters, chasing down small fish and crustaceans, while others are scavengers, feeding on dead and dying animals. The crab is an important part of the nighttime reef community, both as predator and as prey. The predators of the night reef are a diverse and fascinating group of animals. Each has its own strategy for hunting in the darkness, from the stealth of the octopus to the power of the moray eel to the electroreception of the shark. The night reef is a place of predation and survival, where the hunters and the hunted play out their ancient roles under the cover of darkness. There is a particular peace that comes from being on the coral reef at night that is different from any other experience in the ocean. The daytime reef is a place of bright colors and constant activity, a bustling community of fish and corals that seems to be in constant motion. The night reef is different, quieter, more subtle, a place where the mind can settle and the senses can open to a different kind of experience. The first thing that you notice on the night reef is the quiet. The sounds of the day, the clicking of shrimp, the movement of fish, the general hum of activity are replaced by a softer soundscape. The water is still and calm, and the only sounds are the gentle movement of the water and the occasional call of a nocturnal creature. The quiet of the night reef is a physical presence, a calm that envelops you as you enter the water. The darkness of the night reef is not complete. The moon and stars provide enough light to see the shapes of the coral and the movement of the fish, and the bioluminescent organisms add their own light to the scene. The darkness is soft and gentle, a darkness that invites you to slow down and to look more carefully. In the darkness of the night reef, you become aware of things that you would miss during the day, the subtle movements, the faint glows, the quiet sounds. The experience of floating above the night reef is one of weightlessness and freedom. The water supports you, the darkness surrounds you, and the world below you is alive with the quiet activities of the night. You are a visitor in this world, a guest in a community that has been living its nightly life for millions of years. The sense of being part of something larger than yourself is strong on the night reef. The night reef is a place of discovery. Every time you shine a light on the reef, you see something new. A crab emerging from a crevice, a moray eel hunting along the edge of the coral, an octopus changing color as it moves across the reef. The night reef is a world of hidden activity, and the more time you spend there, the more you see. The peace of the night reef is a peace that stays with you. The memory of floating in the warm water, watching the bioluminescent flashes in the darkness, hearing the quiet sounds of the reef at night, becomes a touchstone that you can return to whenever you need to find calm. The night reef is a place of rest and renewal, a reminder that the world is larger than our daily concerns, and that there is peace to be found in the natural world. As the night progresses and the first light of dawn begins to appear on the horizon, the night reef begins its transition back to the day reef. The nocturnal creatures retreat to their hiding places, the diurnal creatures begin to emerge, and the colors of the reef begin to brighten. The night reef is a temporary world, a world that exists only during the hours of darkness, but it is a world that is as rich and complex as the daylight reef that replaces it. One of the most spectacular events in the life of the coral reef is the mass spawning event that occurs each year, when corals release their eggs and sperm into the water in a synchronized burst of reproduction. This event is one of the most remarkable phenomena in the natural world, and it is timed with precision to occur on specific nights after the full moon. The mass spawning of corals is triggered by a combination of environmental cues, including water temperature, day length, and the phase of the moon. In most reef systems, the spawning occurs over a few nights in the late spring or early summer, when the water temperature is rising and the moon is in a specific phase. The timing is so precise that different species of coral spawn at different times on the same night, ensuring that eggs and sperm from the same species find each other. The spawning event begins with the release of tiny bundles of eggs and sperm from the coral polyps. These bundles float to the surface, where they break apart and the eggs and sperm mix in the water. The water becomes cloudy with the reproductive products of the coral, creating a scene that looks like an underwater snowstorm. The release is synchronized across the reef, with millions of corals releasing their gametes at the same time. The fertilization of the eggs occurs in the water column, and the fertilized eggs develop into larvae called planulae. The planulae drift in the currents for days or weeks before settling on the seafloor and beginning to grow into new coral colonies. The timing of the spawning ensures that the larvae are released when conditions are most favorable for their survival. The mass spawning of corals is a spectacle that attracts divers and scientists from around the world. The sight of the reef erupting in a cloud of eggs and sperm is one of the most dramatic events in the ocean, and it is a reminder that the reef is a living community that reproduces on a massive scale. The spawning event is a celebration of life, a moment when the reef ensures its survival for another generation. The synchronization of coral spawning is one of the most remarkable examples of biological timing in the natural world. The corals somehow sense the passage of time and the phase of the moon, and they coordinate their reproduction with a precision that is not fully understood. The spawning event is a reminder of the hidden rhythms that govern life on the reef, rhythms that are tied to the cycles of the moon and the sun. The future of coral spawning is threatened by climate change and ocean acidification. Rising water temperatures can cause corals to bleach and die, and ocean acidification can make it more difficult for corals to build their skeletons. The mass spawning events that have occurred on the reef for millions of years may be disrupted by these changes, and the future of the reef depends on our ability to address these threats. The coral spawning is a reminder of the beauty and fragility of the reef, and of our responsibility to protect it. The coral reefs of the world are among the most valuable and threatened ecosystems on Earth. They are home to a quarter of all marine species. They protect coastlines from storms and erosion, and they provide food and income for hundreds of millions of people. Yet coral reefs are in decline around the world, threatened by climate change, pollution, overfishing, and other human activities. The protection of coral reefs is one of the most important environmental challenges of our time. The greatest threat to coral reefs is climate change. Rising water temperatures cause corals to expel the symbiotic algae that live in their tissues, a process called coral bleaching. When corals bleach, they lose their color and their primary source of food, and if the bleaching is severe or prolonged, they die. Mass bleaching events have become more frequent and more severe in recent decades, and they are projected to become even more common as the climate continues to warm. Ocean acidification is another major threat to coral reefs. As the ocean absorbs carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, it becomes more acidic, and this acidity makes it more difficult for corals to build their calcium carbonate skeletons. In a more acidic ocean, corals grow more slowly, their skeletons are weaker, and they are more vulnerable to erosion and damage. Ocean acidification is a slow and insidious threat that is gradually undermining the ability of corals to build and maintain the reef structure. Pollution is a significant threat to coral reefs in many parts of the world. Runoff from agriculture carries fertilizers and pesticides into the ocean, causing algal blooms that can smother corals. Sediment from construction and deforestation can cloud the water and block the sunlight that corals need. Plastic pollution can entangle and kill reef animals, and chemical pollutants can disrupt the reproduction and development of marine life. Overfishing is another major threat to coral reefs. The removal of herbivorous fish, such as parrotfish and surgeonfish, can lead to the overgrowth of algae on the reef, which can smother corals. The removal of predatory fish can disrupt the balance of the reef ecosystem, leading to outbreaks of coral-eating starfish and other pests. Sustainable fishing practices are essential for the health of coral reefs. Marine protected areas are one of the most effective tools for protecting coral reefs. These areas restrict or prohibit fishing and other extractive activities, allowing the reef ecosystem to recover and thrive. Marine protected areas have been shown to increase fish populations, improve coral cover, and enhance the resilience of reefs to climate change. The expansion of marine protected areas is a priority for coral reef conservation. The future of coral reefs depends on our ability to address the threats that they face. Reducing greenhouse gas emissions, improving water quality, managing fisheries sustainably, and expanding marine protected areas are all essential steps for protecting coral reefs. The task is urgent and the challenges are great, but there is reason for hope. Reefs that are healthy and well managed are more resilient to the effects of climate change, and the efforts of scientists, conservationists, and local communities are making a difference. The future of the coral reef is in our hands, and the choices that we make today will determine whether the reef continues to thrive for generations to come. As our story slowly comes to an end, allow the final thoughts to fade. Gently into the quiet of the night, the rain and the calm ideas and the peaceful moments we've explored can settle softly in the background like distant echoes of a quiet evening. There is no need to think about anything now. Your body can continue to relax, breathing slow and steady. If you are still awake, simply remain here a little longer and enjoy the calm atmosphere. And if sleep has already started to find you, let it arrive naturally and without effort. Thank you for spending this quiet moment here on Cozy Sleep Time. If you enjoy these calm stories and gentle explorations, you can return anytime for another peaceful journey into rest. For now, let the night grow quieter and quieter and quieter, and allow yourself to drift deeper into sleep. Good night.